Rose. The Detroit Pistons won the draft. The Detroit Pistons won the draft. Not only did Jaden Ivy fall to 5, something no one expected, but then Jalen Duren, a Jalen in Detroit. This is a very significant advancement for your franchise.
Absolutely. And remember, like, my father was the #1 pick of the Pistons in 1967. And though I never met him, my mother nurtured me into basketball. That was her favorite team. It was our favorite sport. And that's something that we bonded over. And I can't ignore sitting at the draft as somebody that's really fortunate in a lot of ways to be synonymous with the draft. What I chose to wear in 1994, love it or hate it, it's always going to be discussed. The name Jalen, you just can't ignore it. I can't ignore it. And for him to be the number 13 pick, which I was also. And so there were so many things that was going through my mind as like an NBA life for a long-time Detroiter. As you know, I'm really good friends with the owner, Tom Gores. They're supporters of JRLA. I'm a diehard Detroiter, unlike you, who could be die easy. And we've had some tough times. But as a franchise, we've had some awesome times. And working the draft last year was a pivot point. The general manager, Trey Weaver's doing an amazing job. And the pivot point, there were two. One, we kept Dwayne Casey. The second thing we did was draft Cade Cunningham. And then when you now see that he can become a franchise player that you can trust on and off the floor, now you can look at the chessboard and say, let's build around him.
Yes.
Okay? And you and I talked a lot about this. Saddiq Bey had a 50-point game last year for the Detroit Pistons. We added Marvin Bagley up front. But what is it going to make the game easier for Cade is what you got to be thinking about.
Talk to me.
Get somebody that's a scorer. Get somebody that's a blur. Get somebody that has terrific athleticism. And somebody that's going to be his longtime running mate.
Who's that?
Jaden Ivy.
What an absolute steal.
And see, Jacoby, as you know, it's a tall man's game. And this is probably like the 4th or 5th time, like 3 guys, 6'10" or 11, went 1, 2, and 3 in the draft. But I like to look deeper in the box score. And those guards that can do what he does, when he grows into his body and he really understands that he can be a game changer defensively, like, he's going to be able to score the ball. He's going to be able to create for others. He's going to have a terrific motor. And having those guys now put you in position to be like a young upstart team on the rise. So I'm really proud for the city, and I'm really proud of our patients. See, we doing this show in New York. And our brother Stephen A. Smith, he's upset about his Knicks.
We're going to talk about the Knicks in a second.
Right, correct. But the point I'm trying to make is there's something in Detroit. We understand we got to build it, then they'll come.
Can I explain?
Not the other way around.
You know something that's amazing about Jaden Ivy in this fit? Didn't work out with Sacramento.
Well, here's the other thing about that. You don't work out with, but by the way, I mean, Paolo didn't work out for the Magic.
No.
So like, if I'm a team, I ain't drafting you if I don't look at you, if I don't meet with you, if you don't come into the building.
You don't want to get on a plane.
I'm not going to draft you. And so for Ivy though, it worked out well because you can't really have him in Fox. Like, you want him to become a Fox-like player. You know what I mean? But more size and more athleticism and things of that nature. But De'Aaron Fox, if you remember, he's a blur. I mean, he's an awesome athlete too. And so for us to get that caliber player, like, I'm really excited for Detroit basketball.
This seems a perfect compliment for Cade. It could not have gone better for the Pistons. And Jaden Ivy, let's just say he got a little emotional when he was drafted.
Oh, man. This is everything, man. I work day in and day out to just get to this level. And, you know I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. And I'm just so happy. I'm just so happy.
The Detroit Pistons' first round was not over. At 13, Jalen Duren, in a trade, ends up with the Pistons. So now they traded Grant. We all thought maybe that would mean Keegan Murray would be at 5. What does it mean that they've added Duren?
Do you like, I'm a veteran television personality, quasi-producer, and I never mentioned his name until right now? You like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love you too, brother.
Great job by you.
Hey, check this out, man. Physically gifted, powerful, rebounder, shot blocker, toughness.
Yes.
Now, I always talk about building a team that's the character of the city that you play. Pittsburgh Steelers do a terrific job of this. Miami Heat with their culture, they do an amazing job of that. The reason why I just use those two parallels is because if you switch Eric Spoelstra and Mike Tomlin, it seems like they could coach each other's teams. Like that's something called an identity. And when you look back at the history of the Detroit Pistons, when we were at our best, what were we? The bad boys.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. People talk about our physicality, but we were an offensive juggernaut too. Remember, we were a part of the highest scoring game versus the Nuggets in the history of the league, and they only made 1 to 2, 3 3-pointers, whatever. So you got Isaiah and Joe, but they locked down on D, toughness up front. Robin, Sally, Mahorn, right? Bill Laimbeer. And then you graduate. Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace, Tayshaun Prince, along with Rip and Chauncey. Toughness, identity, building a core. And so when I sit back and I start watching other teams around the league, I look to see if they're trying to build a team to have an identity. See, I love the players that we got, but I like that we're building identity. That's different. So now when I'm feet on the wood, you got to come check me out. I'm trying to tell you, we're going to be in the playoffs.
We'll see about that. Let's just get to training camp first before we start getting into the playoffs. But I like Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Duren as a front court. And then you've got Ivy,
Bagley,
Cade in the back court. It's so exciting in Detroit.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.